Well, hello there, YouTube. It's Saturday, June 18th, 2022, and I've got a quick little video for you. Today we're going to be working on the EGR valve. It's just a little valve that sits on the outside of your vehicle, but I wanted to let you know about something. So this is a metal gasket, so if you don't break it or anything, you can probably be just fine. But besides that, you also have this. So there's a tube that goes on that connects to this EGR valve, and that's the tube over here on the right. That gasket right there, you can't purchase. I've even seen on forums where people are trying to buy that for the last 2 years, and no one can buy that. So that's also a metal gasket. So try not to break it, don't discard it, keep it, okay? And your EGR valve, can't seem to find one of those either except on eBay, you know, used ones, and they're almost $300 US. So there's really not much that can go wrong here, okay? That gasket right there you can get, and I'm guessing you can also get the sender unit. This video is not about the sender unit. All right, so this is what it actually looks like. So that picture is not quite right because your EGR valve over here on the right, that's not really how that really works. The way that it really works is like that. It just comes in this one side here and then goes underneath. So that's what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that this works, that this piston goes up and down, that you can see the piston through here. It's kind of hard in the video, but that goes up and down based on this diaphragm. You could probably even find other things as long as you can get the right pressure and take this off. But that's why a lot of people, they just delete these. They get a plate and they put the plate over the top, and then the same thing on the other side. They'll just plug the other side out. But let's go see how it actually looks on an engine. So you can see from this snapshot, the EGR valve actually originates with this tube right here. And that's where things get plugged, is right there in that tube. Your EGR valve probably itself does not get plugged. It might get rusted. So that's a possibility. But getting to these two screws, I'm not positive if you can get to these two screws, because that's, you know, between the upper and lower intake manifolds. So I'm not positive if you can get to those or not. If you can, great. Then you can take that off, and that's really the only way that you can recondition this system. You need to get the whole system out so you can do it. And this is what it looks like on the car. So this is actually how this sits in the vehicle. This is the lower intake manifold. So you have your upper on top of that, and you've got your cylinder head and then your exhaust manifold. So this thing sits on top of your exhaust manifold with that gasket, right? And then you have this coupling, which is a compression fitting, and that's how those things come together. So you really need to take this all the way apart, fish it all out if you can, but if you're, of course, have your engine apart like mine, it's a piece of cake. And then detach that, and that's where those metal washers are. And you can see there's little tabs to hold on to your screws here too. There'll be a whole video, if you know, when it comes out, I'll put a link right here, but there's a whole video on this reconditioning the whole intake manifold, upper and lower intake manifold. There will be, I've done it, it's going to be coming as we do it. But there's that metal washer. So don't lose that metal washer, all right? But that's basically all there is to the intake, you know, as far as the EGR valve and how it all goes together. Well, another part of this is, you know, this thing. So we can see that it's just totally clogged here. Right? That thing is completely clogged. I don't want to shove it in. What I'd like to do is possibly take a drill and pull it out like a drill. I'm just going to take a little drill bit here and What would others do? Just buy a new tube? We should go see what it cost. Let's see if I can use a drywall. Okay. So it looks like it's mostly right there. Let's see if I could pull it out, right? Of it off, you can see I didn't touch any of the sides. I would imagine it's the size of the pipe all the way. I don't really want to take an actual drill to it, but I thought I could use this to pull it. You're gonna hate this. There's too many buttons I have to push around here. Darn it. Well, I got this off. All right. So, and all I did was just stick it in my little handy little cradle here to hold one half, and I took the other half and I was able to break it. Just like you'd think it would do. Darn it. Sorry about that, but it's a compression, just like a bathroom, right? A compression type thing. Hopefully, it all seals back up when we're done. But we have to get this thing cleaned out. There's no doubt about that. So the reason why I forgot to do it is because I hit the record button. Is because I went in and I checked to see how much this tube cost. I mean, regardless, it had to be cleaned. Either we have to buy a new one or clean it, so you have to take it apart. So it was sitting a little longer, and I took care of it, but that's what it cost. So that would be $137. So I'd like to see if we can clean that. This is the EGR valve, right? That would be the $288 for this. Make sure it's functional. I don't want to ruin it. And we know that it's a valve that when this has a draw on it should lift up this piston. I'm thinking that, but it looks like it might be stuck up. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out. So now we're going to see if I can clean this hole. And I mean, I've got some compressed air and stuff like that, but I don't want to. I'm just going to give it a shot and see what we can come up with. So I'm just nerding around. You can see just how much garbage I got, and that's just when I decided to start collecting. But blowing air through it, of course, was pretty good because you can pressurize that whole tube. And I was able to get through the blockage, and now I've been using my trusty 12 gauge wire. But most all your carbon's going to be right here, 10-to-1, because this is clean on this side. But I don't know, how well everything will seal when it's all over with, but I think it'll be just fine. But all the carbon is on this. But this also goes up and around, so you're able to even bend it and get that other wall. I think once you've got those couple of walls there, you'll find out that you pretty much have all of it. And then run some wire brushes, some flexible wire brushes in there with solvent and all that. And I think it would be just fine, rather than spending $137.50 or whatever the heck it was. And you can see I got me one of these hats, with a light on it, so I'm able to look really well down inside there. Deep inside, that's all pretty much taken care of. Basically, it's just pipe. Just to run those gases. There's no way a shop would ever take this kind of detail. I mean, they might clean this out or just buy a new one, right? I mean, charge you for a new one. So you can make the choice. Let's see how good we can make this thing look and function. I already went through the dirty bath of strange stuff. This one here has been filtered. I filter this through a paint filter. Because the salt's still good. You know, they don't. Just out the side. Alright, so this is my biggest concern here. Alright, so after I cleaned it and blew it all out with the air compressor, now I could take a look inside there. This collar will turn, so I would think you want to have it in the most loose position when you go to attach this back. Try to get everything to snug fit by hand before you throw that onto it. But the compression should seal that back up. So the next thing we should do is test this. Obviously, this is a vacuum line that would hook onto this, so I have a vacuum line. And then I'm going to, if you look at the bottom of this here, so I know that that works But we just want to just clean it up just a little bit. Because this top part's got a diaphragm and all that. This stuff says it's safe on plastic. And I've tested it on different rubber and stuff like that to make sure it didn't expand the rubber. And everything that I tested seemed okay. We can take our little gray pad, which is okay, just to make sure we have a nice smooth surface. Alright, now that it's fully cleaned up, what I'm going to do now is test it. So I'm going to fill this up. This will test just like a valve. Just fill that up. You can even do a leak test. Okay, so it looks like it's staying pretty level, right? And then we'll go ahead now and I'll suck on the end of this and open up the valve. And there it did. So it allowed all the fluid through. And there it is. So we know that the valve works. And we've got WD-40 throughout. I'll even wipe it down a little with some WD-40. So we know we don't need to buy one of those. Go ahead and give it a little blow here. So there we go.